180!
Hi lads and lasses, and welcome to Dance Coaching with Dynamite Dave, and this is an edition of Chuck and a Chat. What's going to be in today's edition is number one, about a medical condition that's come up. It won't affect the channel and what have you, but I think it's only right that I tell everybody, as I always do. I'm open and honest with you all the time, tell you everything that's going on. So that's going to be number one. Number two is going to be some questions from fans of the channel from Facebook and also from YouTube. So we've got some questions to answer for you. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the match play that's been going on in Blackpool over the last few days, and we'll carry on till weekend. We've got two players now in the quarter-finals from yesterday's results. There's a couple of things I want to talk about over a couple of the matches. So that's the itinerary for today, so we'll get on to number one right now. Right, as I was mentioning before, a medical condition has come up. What happened was, in January of this year, some 7 months ago, I went to the doctors complaining with knee pain and was told I'd probably done something to my cruciate ligament. They didn't give me any x-rays or anything like that, so there was no evidential backup or anything for it. So anyway, they told me that it'd take months and months to heal, and gave me painkillers and anti-inflammatories. That was in my right knee. As the months went on, a couple of months went by, my left knee, because I was hobbling on my right knee, it affected my left knee. So I went back to the doctors after a few months and told them, and they said it can take months and months and months. Carry on with the painkillers. So they upped my painkiller dose, upped my anti-inflammatory dose. Carried on with that, and anyway, late last month, I went to see occupational health at work because I wanted to see if I could get some physiotherapy through work, hopefully aid and speed up the healing process, because it seemed to be taking a long time. And the occupational health officer at work said to me that I should go back to my doctors and demand some x-rays. Well, I did that. I demanded some x-rays, went back to the doctors, had the usual fight that you have all the time with trying to get in at the doctors. Terrible. Managed to get in eventually. The order referred me for some x-rays. I went and had some x-rays. The results of those x-rays have now come back, and it turns out that I've got osteoarthritis in my left knee, moderate to severe. I've got osteoarthritis in my right knee, which was the bad one in the first place, severe, with sclerosis, which means it's like bone deformity. I've got an appointment at the end of August to go and see the specialist with an MRI scan coming in just before that. So then hopefully we'll know how we're going to progress through the year with that. So it may very well affect the fact that I have actually said on the channel on a few occasions that I was going to do the UK Open this year. Obviously I've got to do the, well, it's for next year, early next year, but the qualifiers are later this year. So it all depends on whether I get a pair of new bionic knees, or whether they're going to just do some keyhole surgery, or whether it's just going to be cortisone injections for now. Obviously that will progress how it progresses, and I'll keep you informed along the way. Right, I'll move on to section 2 now, which is questions from YouTube and Facebook. As you can hear, we're outside, and as you can see, we're outside, so there's going to be some sounds, a couple of cars going past and stuff like that. And kids from next door playing, you might be able to hear the odd aircraft going over as it did before. Right, well, the first question is from a chap called Whippito. He's been a subscriber to the channel for quite a long time, and he's asked me the question of, he's adopted the Dynamite Dave stance and throw. The only thing that he's struggling with is the grip. He says that what's happening is his darts are coming out of his hand pointing low, and they're going low under the 20 when he's got the actual proper Dynamite Dave grip. And what's happening is if he turns his finger underneath the dart, he's managing to get the darts higher into the board, but he's less accurate. So this is what the cure for that is. Obviously, without actually seeing the way that you throw and what you're actually doing with the stance and the grip as your hand's coming out, if you can send me a video with it, that'd be fantastic, because I can slow it down into slow motion and I'll be able to see what your hand's doing. So even if you just send me one video of 5 visits of just your hand, or just your body from one side, I can zoom into that and slow it down and have a look and see where you're going wrong. But this is my theory on what I think is quite possibly going wrong. Bit of a stab in the dark, calculated guess. what I think's probably happening, and this has happened to me in the early days, was the pot where the point of the dart is, and that's why I developed the actual grip the way that it is. There'll be a little bit of a side video down here that'll show you the way that you can alter the grip. And what you can do with the dart is, if you've got the grip right, your finger should be just in front of the point. Now if you push that finger out, you'll notice that the point goes up in the air. So all you need to do is, as you're coming back, slide your finger, as your hand goes down, as your hand goes down to the bottom and you've got the grip, slide your finger forward slightly in your brain and just keep it in that position and throw it. And that will push the front of your point up. This is what I do when I do personal coaching for people, of how you can adjust those minute little bits. You've seen them on the TV where, like, they'll say you'll go one outside and then one in, and it deflects in. Well, when you're down at the bottom of the board, if I'm going for something like, say, a double 3, double 19, double 17, if I go on the outside of the wire, all I do is just shove my finger slightly further forward on the point and it lifts the point by a couple of millimetres. And as I've said to you, a millimetre in your hand is a centimetre on the board. So if you're just outside the wire, if you push that point up by a millimetre, it's going to go a centimetre up and it's going to go bang right in the middle of the thing of the double. So hopefully hopefully that's helped you. The thing that it could be is arm speed and release, because you should be able to, like you said, you're throwing the darts more aggressively, but that takes your accuracy away. Yeah, that's not what you want to do. Keep your arm speed at your comfortable arm speed, and it's where the release is possibly where you might be releasing slightly early. Also, another aspect of the throw that could be is, obviously, as I say, without seeing it on a video, I won't be able to tell, but it could be that your elbow's dropping slightly. So what you could be doing is your elbow could be dropping, and all as you're actually going to throw it, it might not actually be the grip or the throw, it might be your elbow that's dropping slightly as you're coming to throw. Question 2 has come from Facebook, and it's another one who's been in contact with me quite regularly over the last, I'd say, 6 months. He's a subscriber to the channel, and he's called Steve Diamond. And Steve Diamond's contact me over something that's very, very common, and I hear this quite a lot, virtually all the time, from different people. Personal coaching, when people ask me to do personal coaching videos, etc, etc, they usually come along with an email and a load of information, and a lot of the information is this question. And this question is how come when I'm practicing I can throw at a really, really good level, I'm hitting my doubles and all this, that and the other, and then when I go out to go into a league match situation, I'm on my B game all the time instead of my A game, or very often I'm on my B game rather than my A game, and it's your B game that counts. Don't forget, this is one thing, and again, without seeing what you actually do when you're practicing, it's very difficult. It's another stab in the dark, or it's another calculated assessment. What I think that you're doing is, more than likely, when you're practicing, you're marching up and down the hockey. So basically what you're doing is throwing your 3 darts, walking back down the hockey or round the side and straight to the hockey and back then. And then what you do is you end up developing a rhythm. So what you do is you end up developing a rhythm, and that rhythm, when you go to the pub to play in a match, gets disturbed, because obviously when you're in a match in the pub, you've got things going on around you, you've got people talking, people shouting, that's a distraction. You've also got the fact that when you take your darts out the board, you walk to the back and you've got to stand there and wait for your opponent to finish throwing and retrieve his darts from the board before you can walk up to the hockey. Now if you do an experiment for me, everybody can do this if you want, anybody who plays in leagues, when you're at home, time your throws. Get a stopwatch and time your throws. Do it over 3 visits, or you can do it over 5 visits. It's up to you. It's quite easy to do, as long as you do it over a calculated period. So if you time yourself over, let's say, 3 visits, and then when you go to the pub, do exactly the same thing, or you go in a league match or something like that, you go, you bang the timer, you have 3 visits, bang the timer again, and see how much longer it's took you to take those 3 visits when you're actually in competition as it does when you're in practice. And I think that'll be a bit of an eye-opener for you. So I think that's probably where you're going wrong. Alright Steve, so thanks for that question. And we've got the 3rd and final question in this section, which is from another chap who's on my YouTube channel. It's really good. He gives me some fantastic comments and what have you, and he always makes me smile. Sorry, erratically me. So in other words, erratically me. I think that's what it's supposed to be. And he said, what's your basic premise for playing 501? Well, it all depends on what level you're playing at. If you're playing at an 100 plus average, like the lads do on the telly, and I do, then you're looking at your finishes all the way from 200 and above. You look above 200, you're looking to set that finish up to try and leave yourself a 170 or a 167 or a 161 or a 151. You're always doing that. Usually you throw your first two to score and you throw your third arrow to try and get it into a position where you can manufacture yourself a finish. Obviously, if you're playing at a lot lower level than that, then what you're looking to do is, if you feel that you can and you can finish from around the 100 mark, when you get down again below 200, you should be looking to set that finish up. If you're slightly less able than that, and you're missing, like, say, big singles and going into the ones either side, there's a couple of tips I've got for you here. Is instead of scoring on the 20s, try scoring on the 19s. The reason being is you've got 3 odd-ons in a row. So if your 3 odd-ons in a row mean it's easier to leave yourself with an even for a finish, so for a 3-2 or 1 dart finish. What you want to be doing is, if you're in the intermediate, lower to intermediate level, is you want to be looking, probably you're finishing, you've been mentioning 32s and what have you. Whatever you do, don't get hung up on trying to leave yourself 32. You should be practicing, and you should be trying to get proficient at finishing on your 20s, your 10s and your 5s. That's the way to do it. Is if those are the sort of scores that you're finishing from, which is like double figures rather than treble figures. If you've got, let's say, 72 left, why not have a go for a double top and then double 16? In your practice, if you're playing in the pub and what have you, you might want to go a safer way. And again, it all depends on what your opponent's on. If your opponent's on 175 or 200 or 220 and you're coming down to a 76 finish, what's wrong with you having a go at double 18, double top, or double top, double 18, whichever way you want to do it. Same with 72. My preferred way of going for 72 is I throw for 32, which is double 16. If I miss it, I just throw another one in the double 16, and it's your grouping, bang bang, and then up for the double top. So that's a way of thinking about it that's maybe slightly different from the way that you're thinking about it at the moment. As I say, it's all logical. The doubles are twice the size of the treble, so why would you go for a treble if you can go for a double? The only thing with doubles is, and I understand this argument, is where you can go out of the board. Yes, of course you can go out of the board, but if you go out of the board, then you've got a marker, or you should have a marker, to place your second dart into the double, which then will give you that shot at double top. Everybody has different ways of doing it, and the traditional way now is going out of the window, which is something that we're coming on to now, which is the match play. And it's something that I've wrote a couple of little bits down, and these are all the things that I can think of off the top of my head without actually going back and reviewing them, is the fact that people now, even the professionals, the top line elite professionals, are starting to finish on double-double. And there's 2 instances of that in the next section of this video. With working on nights, I can't actually watch the match play as it's happening. I have to watch it in the evening, and as I've made this video the following morning, and so I'm going to be slightly out of step with what's happening. Good thing with the match play though is it's played over 10 days, so there is actually some time to do this. I was watching the Simon Whitlock and James Wade match last night on catch up, and I noticed that James Wade really didn't turn up, and he's been playing so fantastic recently. But this is what happens with certain dart players. You get certain dart players, and Simon Whitlock's been in the wilderness, or he was in the wilderness for a couple of years, and then he's come back, and he's come back fantastic now. James Wade last night played. His scoring wasn't good at all. Simon Whitlock outplayed him right the way throughout the match. And I noticed in that match between Simon Whitlock and James Wade in leg 5 went for a double 18 double top finish. He just missed the double top with his last dart, but it just shows that the professionals and the elite players are now starting to go for double finishes. Same thing happened in the Peter Wright match. Peter Wright actually did I think it was a double 18, double 16 shot, out shot. Also, the last one that I want to mention is the Rob Cross one. I think Rob Cross was going for treble 18, double 18, which is 5, yeah? And then what he did was he hit a single 18, so he went double 18, double 18, which is 5. So what a fantastic outshot that was. And I actually say fantastic outshot, nearly a fantastic outshot. He missed again with his last arrow. The first arrow went in the double 18, the second arrow went right on the wire. So unfortunately it didn't pan out for him that time, but it does. They're actually starting to adopt that, and it's funny how that started to come in about 18 months ago when I started promoting that on. It was Hints, Tips and Advice for Beginners then. That was some 2 years ago. So the logic in it is now starting to be adopted by the top line elite players. So for the people who've said to me before, the crackers, people wouldn't do that, people don't, the professionals don't check out like that, well, I'm sorry, but they do, and they're starting to do it more and more. So thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed the video, and don't forget, lads and lasses, always, 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 you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in, and as I always say, toe to the hockey.
Game, shot and match to Dynamite Dave.